What's up guys, Marco here, back with another episode of the Google Ads and eCom Q&A, the format where I take your questions that you ask me on YouTube and email and answer them here in a short video so that as many of you guys as possible can actually benefit from what we discuss about these questions. So today we have 4 questions, and if you're using Google Ads, they will be tremendously helpful and powerful for you, I hope. So without further ado, let's jump right to the first question. And the first question comes from Muhammad, and he's asking, nice content, bro. If there is a new store, one product or niche, new ad account, what do you suggest? Shopping ads, smart shopping ads, or search ads, single keyword ad groups? And what daily budget is good to start? Well, Muhammad, first of all, shopping ads is almost always the lowest hanging fruit, no matter if you run a general store, niche store, one product store, whatever, okay? So I would always start with a shopping ad, and I don't know your budget, but if you can afford, I would start with typically $15 to $20 a day. Now there's also a maximum budget. I would say everything above $50, maybe $100 if you have a lot of money to start. Everything above that is completely unnecessary because you cannot optimize fast enough and you cannot really, get the most out of your campaigns at any given time. So shopping ads at a budget of $15, $20 plus per day. Then I recommend to always test some sort of smart shopping ad as well. If it's one product store, obviously you cannot do both at the same time. But if it's like a niche store with a lot of products, I recommend that you put some of them in normal shopping ads, some of them in smart shopping ads. And then ultimately, yes, if you're on a niche or one product store, it's very, very useful to test search ads as well. I don't recommend search ads for a general store, at least not in the beginning. But if you're on a niche store, you might want to try search ads by advertising a certain collection, a certain product or a certain product line, sending people to the appropriate page, whether it's collection page, etc. And this can work very, very well in a niche store. But that's the priority here: shopping, smart, search. So just the way you listed it in here is exactly what I would do. And budget, daily budget, same here. $15 to $20. If you want to do all three, of course, you would still need at least $10 a day, in my opinion, for each campaign. So start with 1 or 2 and don't do all 3 at the same time if you cannot really afford it. The next question is from Yuda, and he asks, hello, I want to ask actually, how much does a good bid CPC for Google Shopping target United States? Well, I assume that you want to have like a good average general bid. The problem here is there is no really such a thing. Generally, I have as a very, very generic rule of thumb, I'm trying to bid like 1% of my product price. So if I sell something for $100, I start with a $1 CPC bid. If I sell something for $30, I start with a 30-cent CPC bid. Now, of course, this rule of thumb is flawed and it doesn't work all the time. In fact, it doesn't work lots of times. But it's very easy to come up with. Don't overthink your initial bid because you will never hit the perfect bid right away, okay? So there are many situations you bid way too high, you bid way too low, or you cannot know up front what the really good bid here is. Yes, you can use the keyword planner and see that the like first page bid on the low end is $1, and probably you don't get a lot of impressions with a 20-cent bid, but it's always a matter of testing. So start with, for example, the 1% rule. I also have like a product bidding simulating worksheet in my training, but it's also not that super important, okay? It helps you find a better bid up front and it helps you get a more scientific bid up front. It helps, but it's not super important. So it's more important that you constantly test them, that you like look at the data, see if they work, if they don't work for you, and then adjust them either up or down. Also change the bidding strategy at some point. But yeah, use the 1% rule for now and then see what happens. Or what I almost forgot. A good CPC bid, as I said, there is no such a thing, but generally you can expect on shopping to pay a minimum of usually around 30 cents in the United States if you're very good. And there is almost an open end, right? I've had cases where we paid $4 to $5 on a shopping ad for a very, very competitive, super high ticket item. Normally it's around, I would say, if I have to give an average on all shopping ads that I work with in the United States, probably something like 70 cents, I would say 60, 70 cents, something like that. I hope that helps, but as I said, it depends on the individual case. Then Valdu, hi Marco, great video. I see from the comments below that you said you're transitioning to stock-based selling. Is it something you recommend we do after gaining some experience or straight away? Thanks. Hope everything is okay with your health wise. Thanks a lot, Valdu. Yeah, everything is great. And I recommend to do that after you gain some experience. or if you want to build a one product store professionally. So it is not that useful to switch to stock-based selling if you're just starting out and if you have a small budget. I mean, I also started completely with dropshipping and this went pretty well, but at some point you really get more benefits from switching to stock-based, right? It's quicker, you have more quality control, you can brand and all that kind of stuff. But initially, that's just an overkill. And especially if you don't like validate your niche, if you don't validate your products and everything, you can get quite a lot of cost without really testing your product. So initially, people will not see if a product is in stock or if it's dropshipped. I mean, sure, there is a big difference in shipping time, but still people buy from you because you have good ads, because you have a good store, etc. And you can test these things without having a stock-based fulfillment. So the time you do that is when you're doing good sales and you want to like further increase your margins, you want to get some higher conversion rate by having quicker shipping. So sure, with 2-day shipping, you get more sales than with 15-day shipping. But the point is that even with 15-day shipping, you might get some sales in the first place, and you can still test your offer, your product, and your store. So this being said, yes, do it after some experience and after you have some sort of good budget. Then you can start with your best sellers and like import them first and stock them first, and then gradually maybe add more and more products to the ones that you personally stock or that you put in a fulfillment center. As I said, if you run a one product store and you're committed to it, you might buy like 20 pieces, 50 pieces or something depending on the product up front, because here you have just one single item, and then it's normally less risk and less expensive to stock it. And then we have the last question from Alexei, and he asks, I still don't understand how to choose on which search keywords my products will appear. It's not really a question, but I want to clarify this thing. The thing is, on Google Shopping, of course, you don't define the keywords actively. The keywords or the search queries that are matched with your ads are determined by Google by the title, the description, so what you put in the title of the shopping ad, what you put in the description, the Google Shopping category that you define, and I'm sure that they also somehow maybe even, do a bunch of other stuff. Maybe they use machine learning to understand the image or something. I could imagine that they do something like that. And ultimately also your bid. Okay, so these four main things, title, description, category, and bid, define whether you actually show up on a search query or not. And Google is actually pretty good at doing that. So if you sell like, what's a good example here? If you sell an iPhone case, for example, Google will actually show your ad to a lot of search queries that don't necessarily, include the phrase iPhone case. They might include iPhone, no, I don't have a good example for that, but a synonym for case, right? I don't have a good one here. But if you, for example, let's say you sell a backpack, they might trigger a bag as well. They might trigger all kind of stuff that is related, synonyms and all these kind of things, because Google is pretty dedicated. It's not that they only use the title keywords and then only trigger you for that stuff. That's a common misconception. No, they understand what your product is about, and then they give you the right queries, even though they may not necessarily contain the keywords that you are using, but a very, very close one. So that's how Google determines whether you should show up or not. If you're not showing up a lot, it means that either you have like very few keywords in the title or that you have a very low bid. I know that it can be frustrating that on Google Shopping, you cannot actively define what you search for or what you get ranked for, but you can do that kind of in another way by using negative keywords a lot. So with a massive negative keyword list, let's say of 1,000 negatives or more, or 100 sometimes you need 10,000, you can of course really narrow down what you rank for. So you're not telling Google I want to rank up for that, but you tell them I don't want to rank up for all these things, right? And then only a few are left, and these are probably the ones that you actually want to rank for. So yeah, these were your 4 questions for today. Let me know in the comments if they were helpful. Let me know if you had a similar question. Of course, if you have any other questions, then put them below this video as well, so that I may answer them in the next Google Ads and eCom Q&A video here on this channel. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Please leave a like and please subscribe to not miss on any other eCom and Google Ads videos on this channel. Make sure to click the link in the description to learn more how you might be able to work with me or learn from me beyond the stuff I share on YouTube. And with this being said, I really hope you got a lot of value out of this video, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video again. So until then, I wish you all the best, and bye-bye.